was very rare for someone to say, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, I need your help. Because we're just not equipped as men to have these conversations. Yeah, I know why that makes me emotional. So there you go.
I feel like a complete failure. If I'm like this, it's your fault.
What have I done? What's my fault?
Haven't I always done everything for you? It is my life! Everything okay at home?
Yeah. Everything's fine.
Tell us about the character that you play in the film.
My character is Peter Miller. He's a lawyer. So at the beginning of this movie, he's just got probably the dream job of his life, which is an invitation to join the front runner for a presidential run for President of the United States. His personal life, however, is way more complicated. He's just split from his wife, played by Laura Dern, 2 years ago. He's now living with his new wife, who's had a baby, and the new wife is played by Vanessa Kirby. Things are not really well resolved with his ex-wife, and they are having to come together to co-parent their now 17-year-old boy who's going through an acute depression. He's not going to school. They've just discovered he hasn't been going to school for a month. He's drowning.
How was it working with the director, Florian Zeller? I know this was a project that you really wanted to be across.
You know, I sought out this film. I emailed the director when I heard about it. I heard there were a couple of other actors going for it. It turned out not to be true. Is
that a common thing as well,
no,
reaching out?
No, I've done it once before on Les Miserables. I did it. I just felt in my bones I wanted to be in this movie. I wanted to play this part, that I wanted to be part of this story. Not me only as an actor, but as a father, as a man. There was something about this story that I needed to be part of. And Florian didn't want to rehearse. He cast by instinct. So I was into a talk. He didn't think he was going to cast me. I said, let's meet. And 7 minutes in, he just stopped and he said, you are Peter. I want you to play Peter. I said, but hang on, you're offering me the part? And he goes, yes, I feel it. I feel it. And it was, I was thrilled. And then from that moment on, he said, you don't have to do too much research. We don't have to do too much. You know this part. Mm-hmm. And he said, your character's a good man who's overwhelmed, but he doesn't want to believe that he can't fix this. He has to be the one to solve it. He has to be the one to be there for his son. He was abandoned as a kid by his father, but he's not going to do that. He's going to be the one to do it. It's a admirable quality, but ultimately becomes probably the thing that hurts him the most. As an audience member, you're watching the water go like this, and you're seeing him like, no, I'm fine. Everything's fine. It's fine. Okay, that's not so good, but don't worry, I can solve this. I can solve. And all the time you're watching this. And I think that's what happens for a lot of people. We don't realize we're at a breaking point until we've broken. There's some kind of reckoning where we have to stop and really look at things because we want to be able to be in control. We want to be the one to fix. And when you have a 17-year-old who's going through a mental health crisis, not going to school, he as a father's like, is this a phase? Maybe this is a phase. Maybe this is the bit where I'm just meant to be a bit stronger. He just needs a little push. You know, if I give in to him now, then all these things playing out. And yeah, it's hard to watch because you can see him drowning before the character knows he's drowning. It's very rare for someone to say, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, I need your help. In life, particularly men, we need to say that way earlier. We need to recognize it in ourselves and reach out, even if it's one person in your life that you can be completely vulnerable with. It doesn't have to be a million. It doesn't mean every conversation at the pub has to be you're in tears. Yes, you can have your banter. We can give each other the gibber about the team or the thing or the girl, all of that. But as I learned doing this film, one of the classic ways men deflect is using the word fine. And if someone says now to me, I say, how are you? They go, yeah, I'm fine. I just stop everything. I go, what's going on? They go, what? Something's going on. What's happening? And then we have this built-in way of going, no, it's all good. Yeah, you know, a little overtired, some problems at home and, you know, work's a bit stressful, but I'll be fine. It's fine. We're just not very good at going.
There's no follow-up question.
No, and we don't know how to have the uncomfortable question. The follow-up, exactly, because we're just not equipped as men to have these conversations.
But we're changing that. We're getting there.
Awesome.
How was it working with the cast and particularly your on-screen son, Zen McGraff?
We were in a COVID bubble when we were filming this, And that really worked in our favor. No one was allowed to hang out with anyone except in your group. So as actors, we literally hung out together. There was no going back to your trailer. We just would sit on set and we would hang. And as soon as we got off set, we had to wear these face masks. So none of us wanted to wear that. So we would be in what was our home with sofas, and we would just sit there and chat and talk and eat lunch or whatever. And then back at the hotel, Laura Dern actually became part of our family bubble. We adopted her. It became really close and easy. And particularly with my on-screen son, Zen McGraff, who I got to know really well, and I really, really loved him. He was 19. I mean, my son was 21 at the time. My daughter was 16. It felt like he was my kid. His father and I got to know each other really well because we're the same age, basically. Sorry, Craig, I am older, but I'm going to say the same age. So it felt very family-like and easy.
What's the most important message in this film, in your opinion?
Is when we're dealing with severe mental health crises. Love is not always enough. Just because you're the father, the husband, the wife, the mother, the sister, the person closest to them, doesn't mean you're the best person to really help. That's a really hard thing to admit. I can say as a parent, I know this person better than anyone. I can fix this. But actually, it's not about fixing. It's just about listening and allowing that person to be who they are. We need a village around us. Actually, in life, we need a village. But when there's a real crisis, mental health crisis, the line in the movie is right. The doctor says love is not enough. It's never enough in these situations. It's the most important thing, but it's not enough. So admitting that, leading with vulnerability, as a parent, just saying, I actually don't know what to do in this situation, is the most important thing. And then if you can lead with vulnerability, you can start a real conversation.
How did you look after your own mental health during this process, tackling such heavy topics and themes?
Yeah, this film was unusual for me. My father passed away during the film. The subject matter was very intense. Thankfully, I had my family with me in the bubble and I relied on them a lot. And I was not sleeping great. I was all over the shop. I was a hot mess. And I thankfully had a relationship with the director where I could share all that. And I had a relationship with him where I could trust him, that he had me covered. He said, it's okay, you just do whatever. There was one scene early on, it was like the second day of filming, and there's something in one of the lines on one of the takes, and I just burst out crying, and he ended up cutting, and I just kept crying, and it was completely inappropriate. It's not in the movie. It's completely inappropriate for the scene, and it wasn't what was meant to happen, but it was just what was happening. And my director was like, it's okay. There's no mistakes here. It's okay. And when you calm down, we'll go again. And so having the freedom and I felt a little wave of embarrassment. I felt everyone in the crew going, oh boy, oh gosh, this is going to be a long 3 months with this guy, But they were all understanding. And, the other thing we had, I want to mention, is the first time I've worked on a film where there were counsellors for everybody, available for everybody on the film. I mean, I think that should be available in all working spaces, because this old school idea of leave your private life at home when you come to work, this compartmentalization, which was seen as a strength, I think is a weakness.
You talked about your own children and that balance and that fine line between strength, stability and vulnerability. How did you find that process post the film?
I've changed as a parent for sure. Your specific question is a good one about when's the time to push, when's the time to stop everything, you're okay, or is that too much, are you over-dramatizing things, That's always so difficult to know, and I think you just have to accept you're going to get that as wrong as many times as you get it right. The thing that has changed for me as a parent in a big way is I'm way more open with them about what's going on with me. So I can get quite anxious about, for example, opening night of the show I just did on Broadway. So in the lead up to that, I will feel myself getting anxious, getting preoccupied, And even though I'm at dinner or I'm cooking dinner, I can feel myself going to it because I'm scared. And that's what the brain does. There's danger somewhere, and I'm trying to talk myself through it. And I, for many years, thought the last thing I'm going to do is share that with my kids. They don't need to know. I don't want to burden them with my worries. You know, they've got enough worries of their own. But all of a sudden it dawned on me, I thought, what does that look like to them? It might look like to them that I'm angry with them, or that I don't know, they may be thinking something else is going on, or maybe we can't pay the rent. What's he worried about? Like, they might get anxious themselves. So I just said, hey, if I seem distant at all, I just want you to know I'm feeling anxious about this opening night, and that's what I'm worried about. It's got nothing to do with you. And they were like, yeah, we know that. They were really cool. But they appreciated it. And then I noticed for the next week, and even after the opening night, both of them were like, how you doing? How you feeling? So just me saying that allowed them to ask me those questions that they'd never asked me before. For them, it might look like, oh, I just do all this with a breeze and it's all easy and I just get up, and they might think, oh, I could never do that. So I think it helps them to hear that vulnerability. Well, the other one is, I don't know. I say that more often to them now. Even when we're in the middle of an argument, and I think you should be doing this. And I'm like, well, you don't understand. I say, yeah, right, I don't understand. I don't know. I've never done this before. This is my first time being a parent. I need to take a break because I actually have no idea what to say next. And I don't know what the answer is. Part of me wants to say, no, you should do this. You said you're going to do it, so go and do it. And part of me wants to say, yeah, if you're scared or nervous about it, don't worry about it. Can we talk about this together? Because I don't know what the answer is. And then it disarms them. I think they're ready for an argument, a fight. But actually, it never really gets you anywhere.
And what small things give you hope, and what do you look forward to as well?
On the way home from watching this movie with my family, my wife in the car, she's very extroverted. She was like, what do you guys think? What do you think? What do you think? What do you think? And my son just did this. He said, Mum, I need time to digest this film, and I'll let you know. And that night we didn't talk about it. The next night we had a 3-hour dinner and we talked about it. And I was like, I could never have said that to my father, nor would my father have ever asked me what I thought. Like, I was like, this is awesome. And then the conversation we had was so enlightening. And this film somehow opened up things that we wouldn't have talked about before. What do I look forward to? I look forward to not knowing. Just sort of going into things with a curiosity of not knowing the answer, not necessarily knowing what this year will bring, not knowing how I'll feel, but trying to just be present. That's a really heady answer, but that's how I feel. I really feel a freedom in going, all right, you had a great day yesterday, but I don't know, how do I feel today? Like being more present in how I feel and what I'm experiencing.
Here at Film4, we celebrate being different. What makes you different?
What makes me different? Good on you, Film4, celebrating being different, because we are. Oh God, it just reminded me of a line I had in Greatest Showman, no one made a difference by being like anyone else. It's a good question, what makes me different? I'm thinking of qualities that doesn't really make me different, I don't think. Oh, I'll just say it. I'm super curious about you, the floorboards. I'm curious about what's going on in here. I think as I get older, I get more curious about life. I feel I know less. I'm more okay with that. And yeah, I don't know why that makes me emotional. So there you go.
Thank you so much. You've been brilliant.
Watch the Film4-backed The Son in cinemas now.